Tuesday, 22nd of September 2020. Good afternoon from Europe. Good morning, good evening, guys, wherever we are. Piotr here is the Light Forex Global YouTube channel. 5 minutes towards the US cash open. We are going to go through a few charts, but before, as usual, risk warning. Please bear in mind, trading on margin carries a high level of risk, may not be suitable for all investors. You can sustain a loss of some or all initial investments, so please do not invest the money you cannot afford to lose. Seek education, gain experience before risking real money. However, past performance doesn't guarantee future results. Okay, so when it comes to the pound, we are going to start with the pound. Volatility is back in relation to Brexit and COVID. Let's start with some comments related to the COVID. There was a Boris Johnson statement, and of course we know a few things since yesterday. Pubs, bars, restaurants must be closed at 10. The fans are not gonna be able to visit stadiums from the 1st of October as it was planned. And also, if R rate does not drop below 1, we might tighten the restriction further. That's the words from the Johnson, and the current new restrictions are gonna be valid for the next 6 months. So that was a little bit of the negativity here. So we've seen some pound weakness lately, right? There was an attempt to break below most recent lows around 27.70, so it's something we discussed this morning with a quick rejection, so stop hand and quick rejection. We've moved to the upside. There was a spike also based on the information that the Barnier is going to visit London when it comes to the Brexit talks. But also we have the Ireland's Coveney saying that tactic of UK Gulf made complex talks more difficult. This is very damaging to UK's rip outside of the Brexit bubble. Many feel shocked by what UK government is doing. Concerning, there is a sense UK doesn't want a deal. So plenty of things going on around, and the cherry on the top of that peak is gonna be this time related to the dollar. So pound dollar is gonna be affected as well. Of course, we are talking about the Congress. We are talking about the Powell testifying in Congress. So that's within the next 1 hour. With that being said, congratulations to all being short from around 130. We discussed first target has been hit here, right? We're talking this low is gonna be retested, been hit yesterday and today. Some bounce going on, and well, that's gonna be very interesting where we are towards the end of the day, right? Because theoretically, for now, only theoretically, that's the next target around 26.50, 26.15, and of course you don't want to chase the prices, because if we are going to close like this, creation of the swing low, especially with this lower shadow, could be in place, and the bounce retest of 130 might happen, right? Especially that the Powell is gonna be very active, and if the dollar doesn't like it, then we might see a little bit of the dollar weakness. Overall, dollar today hit some stops, and then we've seen some kind of the profit taking ahead of the Powell. Now let's switch lower on the pound before we will go to the Nasdaq. So we've seen the stop count, right? We've seen attempts to go higher. I think that from the intraday perspective, that's the last line of the defense. So levels close to 27.60. 27.55 as a intraday demand. To the upside, I wouldn't be surprised to make the measure of 1 to eventually 1 that would bring us closer to the weekly open. We are talking about the levels close to 29.20, and to be honest with you, if you are out of the ammunition right now and wanna be short again pound, I would wait for a little bit bigger bounce towards the levels I have just mentioned. Of course, here We just tested intraday supply, but that was 3 hours ago. So that was possible short entry, but that's the history. That's happened three hours ago. I think that orders been filled here, so I do expect eventually to see higher levels, some kind of the spike. Especially it might be possible when it comes to the pound because of all those things: Brexit, COVID, overall slowdown, and Powell re-elected. So that's how I see the things on the pound. Buyers again around 27.65, 27.55. Sellers higher towards 20.29. All right, so that's the FX. We are going to get back to the FX, but first let's have a look what we have when it comes to the Nasdaq, especially first 5-minute trading range. So cash market is officially open, and guys, didn't I told ya yesterday that I'm not gonna be surprised because of the low entry that market is going to get back and try to fill the gap? We went even higher, right? So hopefully you are not chasing the shorts at the bottom, right? There might be few opportunities to try to join the party to the downside, either later today, maybe tomorrow. Anyway, so what happened yesterday? We hit more stops, and guys, I'm talking about this all the time. What I mean by that? If you wanna see at least temporary change in the direction, I'm not saying constant, permanent, but at least temporary, it's good to see some stop count, right? And then there is a chance of them to change the direction, right? That's how it works, basically, right? Anyway, so we see attempt to change this direction. So today's low is in relation to the weekly open and the few days back lows, double lows, right? But if you like longs, right, I would rather take into the consideration Friday low, yesterday low, and eventually creation of the swing low. So I would like to take into the consideration eventually move much lower and then eventually to go higher. That's if you want to risk a long side, right? If you want to risk short side, well, two things: either we taking into the consideration the old consolidation and attempt to break lower, so retest of 50% of that, right? Somewhere close to 11,250, 11,250, 11,300 rally, right? But it could also be that we are just going to hit some Friday high stops, right? And we might see failure around 11,200 already. So this could be the situation for me to try to join the party to the short side. So overall, buyers around the Friday low, sellers either on a failure around the Friday high or towards 11,250, 11,300. Let's place few lines. It's an intraday, so we have to change the color. That's what we are going to do. 30 minutes. So let's place that in between here. And yeah, let's make it here. Cool. So that's the possible supply zone, and well, we'll see. So that's the Nasdaq. First 5-minute trading range is going on right now. Okay, USA. We'll see. We will see. So that's the level when it comes to the Friday low. So we have to see this type of the move to the downside, right? But let's have a look what we have when it comes to the how wide the first 5 minutes trading range was. If is in my interest, no, below 0.5%, below 0.5%, not in my interest, at least for now. But let's make some measures. Let's make some measures. Triple, no, 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 no. No, it's just weekly open, so it's not gonna work that way for us today, unless, yeah, but the upside twice could be with this intraday failure around 11,200. Well, that might work that way, but that looks like that's for the later part of the US later part of the US session. Anyway, so let's have a look what else we have. Euro dollar, very similar to what we discussed in the pound. Market was trying to hit some stops around 117, but we just finished the business when it comes to the swing low. I'm going to show you. Boom. Okay. So when it comes to this swing low, never seen the right side, so it was today. But still, instead of this rising channel, which I'm going to remove for now, I do prefer, as you know, I do prefer horizontal lines. So the bottom of the horizontal consolidation is being tested. It's gonna be very interesting to see the same like on the pound where we are going to end. But don't forget, if we are going to have bigger dark clouds over the pound, we might see the continuation of the range here because of the euro pound, right? So if you like downside on the euro dollar, I would be very careful. I wouldn't chase that here. Rather wait for the rally towards the weekly open, or even at some point maybe we are going to finish the business around 1960 base, this time on the swing high, right? So stops to the downside, stops to the upside range when it comes to the euro dollar. Now, we were discussing yen crosses yesterday. Let's make a very short update when it comes to the dollar yen. No speed it up because dollar yen holding well above 104 for now, right? So we hit very significant levels we discussed yesterday. Well, if you like dollar yen to the upside, there are two levels. First one is close to 104.15 and one higher around 104.30-35. So a little bit more stop count to the downside eventually. If you like short side of the dollar yen, then you have to be patient a bit, right? Because we are trying to create swing high after the stop count. So we might to look for some stops to the upside. In that case, I'm talking about the levels close to 105.25, 105.50. That's the first possible supply I see here on the dollar yen. But the move higher towards 105.90, 106 cannot be ruled out when it comes to the dollar yen. Well, the big question is if we are going to continue what we started, but immediately the same day we stopped. I mean, the risk of sentiment is going to be continue. We might get some answers post Powell, so be careful. Don't try to chase the market. Option expiration, Powell and London fix. Second part of the US session might be interesting, especially that we have RBNZ during the next Tokyo session. So I'm going to get back to you later today with another update. With that being said, have a great trading New York session and see you around. Take care and goodbye.